So, because I know that you recently spoke at this event called What Law School Doesn't Teach You.
Mhm.
And since that topic is obviously very near and dear to both of our hearts, I wanted to ask you about it today. What are some of the biggest lessons that you wish law school had taught you about managing your own law practice?
Everything, because they taught me absolutely nothing. Like zero. Zero. And here's why. Here's why. And I was actually, for years, I was the young lawyer liaison to the section of legal education, which is the accrediting body of law schools. And now not all states require that you go to an ABA accredited law school to sit for the bar, California being perhaps the most famous one. But most of them do. And it's a really important position that I had. It was non-voting, but I still had to be vetted by the Department of Education because the U.S. Department of Education delegates its accreditation authority to this body. And so I was very steeped in steeped in everything legal education and frankly, what's wrong with it and how can we improve? And to the council's credit, they've done and they're continuing to do a lot in order to improve the state of legal education, right? And accrediting the first ever all online like JD is a big step, although it was at an in-person institution. I look forward to seeing institutions that don't have a brick and mortar presence because then they could really reduce the cost of getting accredited. But it does come down a little bit to law schools and the rankings. And that's being all thrown into disarray now with US News, with a bunch of schools dropping out of US News. But the schools want to place lawyers in jobs because it helps their rankings and it helps them with their marketing material. Look how many of what percentage of our students pass the bar and are gainfully employed. They're not incentivized to teach lawyers how to go out and start their own law firms, even though most lawyers in the U.S. are solo or small firm practitioners and eventually become a partner at that firm, right? And become a firm owner. So even though the majority of the profession end up being law firm owners, be that solo or a partner at a firm, we simply do not teach it in law school. It's kind of what's wrong with just education in general. We don't teach people how to go get a job and work. We just teach you how to learn, which is great in a utopian society, which we just don't live in. So you got to learn this stuff on your own. I had just interviewed Carolyn Elephant for a LinkedIn Live that I did.
I love her.
Yeah, she's great. And I said to her how when I Googled how to start a law firm, her stuff came up, not the ABA, not any law school. It was her blog and some other blogs, and some other resources out there and some other solo practitioners or founders of law firms who are talking about it. So, that's what you have to do. Everything, soup to nuts. When I speak to high school students, which I do multiple times a year, or even college students, which I do sometimes, although less frequently, who are thinking about law school, I tell them, take a business class. Take an accounting class, take an entrepreneurship class, take a business class, take a sales class if they have them, because you got to learn these things if you're going to want to, even if you want to go the traditional route, partner at a big law firm and become partner at a big law firm, these skills will still help you even there. But the statistics are such that you're probably going to end up a solo or small firm practitioner and you're going to want to have these skills. But you just have to, for someone like me, I went on YouTube. I read a lot of articles. I read things from the Secretary of State and from the U.S. Or from the Supreme Court of Illinois, that has a bunch of materials on how to start your own law firm through the state Supreme Court. Because there are certain compliance things you have to do. So and that was what I did. And there is no course that's here's how to start a law firm. Except Carolyn Elephant has this accelerator now that is about how to use AI to help you start your law firm. And there are incubators like the Chicago's Justice Entrepreneurs Project. Though they do have an access to justice focus, they do teach you how to start a law firm. I did not know those existed at the time that I was thinking about starting a law firm. And because of the nature of leaving a firm to start a practice and wanting to be able to hit the ground running, it's not I could go and do that incubator while I'm still working for another law firm. So even if I did know about it, I don't think the timing would have worked out. But basically everything from starting it, incorporating it, operating agreements. These are things business lawyers do kind of know. But for a law firm specifically, there are some specifics that apply to a law firm that they don't teach you in your business law class in law school.